Kira Yamato, you should not have been allowed to exist, boy. Hello, this is Galactic Marine 501 slash jexamwolfexia, and in the words of a really weird man, um, this is the review of the 1 to 60th scale, the big scale, as they've accurately called it on the box. You know what? I'll get my Strike Patriot because he's not the Sword Strike at this time. Doesn't even come up to his knee. But anyway, yeah, very nice, heavy model. I wasn't expecting him to be. I actually expected a little more height out of this guy. He's a little underwhelming. I'll get something that can be a general scale for those of you who don't have any 1 to 100. Here's a McFarlane standard Halo Reach figure. It's Emil. So if Emil came up against this guy, I have to say he wouldn't be stabbing him back. He would just get stabbed. He wouldn't be getting his revenge anytime soon. And what an arsenal of things he has to stab with. I showed these off in the unbox. Actually, he's got a backpack hole, so let's see if I can do it. I'm ready! How about... oh, crap. Never mind, I'm just ready. Yeah. Yeah, that was terrible. Still best death in video games ever. No, actually it wasn't. You know what the best death on TV ever was? It was in Adventure Time. At the end of that one where they got the crystal apple and then Tree Trunks ate it. I know she didn't actually die and she came back in another episode, but still just randomly, poof, she just exploded. Just like, wait, what? Okay. Well, anyway, here, let's get into the articulation. At least the notable articulation. He does have a very nice head articulation. He can look up pretty far, down pretty far. His shoulder joint is very nice. Look at this. Watch. Very tight. Very nice joint in there. And I'm actually going to leave the shoulder joint down because I want to show you something else in there. He's got an flex joint there that's very nicely detailed. I can't get that detail on there, I don't think. Yeah, I can. Okay, well, anyway. But yeah. And, oh yeah, the finger articulation is really the most notable. He's got very nice bendable knuckle joints in there. And you could make lots of different poses, like really rude ones, really peaceful ones, really nerdy ones, and many others with just the hands. God, I had to... yeah. Let's just say I rehearsed some of the jokes for this review beforehand. You'll be able to tell which ones, because I'm going to laugh at them myself, probably, because I'm such an idiot like that. But anyway, since I already compared him to the Patriot and to Emil, I'm not going to do any more comparisons. There's one more comparison that I'm going to do, and that's quality. And that's one area on this whole kit where the quality is so much better. I just have to show the comparison. That's also the other reason that the 1 to 100 scale Strike Gundam is in his sword mode. But anyway, here's the shield. Doesn't even need this handle. I never display it with it. I just throw it off to the side. Let's put it into the let's put it onto the hand. Make sure you have the shoulder plate all the way up, because otherwise it has some difficulties fitting. There. And you can just smack it in there. Boom. There's the shield. Very nice shield. Very nice shield, too. It's a very good shield. I don't know why. I just love this shield. I'm just going to pop the shield itself off now. Not the actual bracket. Now I got to show you the beam rifle. This beam rifle is pretty good. It's got a clear scope, which is not the right way, but I'm an idiot, so I can fix it. Let's fix it with the beam saber. Yay. Uh-oh. Okay. There we go. I didn't realize that this thing was going on there the way it did. I had lined it up a different way, because I expected that the side peg would be on the top, so I put it the wrong way. Yeah, I expected the peg would be on the top or the bottom, but it was on the side, so yeah. Just goes to show how much of an idiot I am. But yeah, there it is. There, that's correct now. With the line going across instead of up and down. It's got a movable handle. And in the main handle, it's got a little peg, which you can pop up like so. And I'll show you. I'm gonna connect it off screen because they're very hard to do sometimes. You gotta find that hole. You gotta find the hole, and it's kind of difficult sometimes. But yeah, he doesn't even need his fingers. That's in there solidly. No more floppy beam rifles. So if you have him in a pose with that beam rifle and you don't want it to flop down a bit, you're good. It's not going anywhere. Yeah. So let's get on to the Ale Strike. Now, I'm going to do the beam sabers before I have the Ale Strike to contend with. Here are the beam sabers. This is the good one. The other one, this little tab broke off. He's got these little tabs that you can pull out. You have to twist them sideways. I'm not going to do it because it busts them off really easily. And this one I'm just going to keep in there to make it look a little more full. And for no other reason other than that, because you can hold them perfectly fine. Here's the clear pink beam. I showed you this in the unbox, I know, but some of you may have lives, or part of a live, and not watch the unbox. There we go. Clear pink beam. I could see this being used as a serious shank if this were actually a beam. Like, instead of a lightsaber, you could have a light shank. Like, some Jedi just like, give me your money, foo! Or something like that. I don't know. Do Jedi actually do that? No. Probably not. I'm not huge into Star Wars. I am, but at the same time, you know, I'm a fan of some Star Wars related stuff, but not all. I'm more of a Star Trek fan than a Star Wars fan. Before you guys ask, yes, I do believe that Captain Kirk is far superior to Captain Picard. Oh yeah, and by the way, look back there. You see there's no mounting mechanism. There's a little door here that you can pop up to reveal the slot to mount the packs. That's very cool. I like that. Okay, so yeah, then you can just pose the back thrusters, and then you're good. And I like this pack. I mean, I've never been a huge fan of the Ale Striker. Just the mass of this thing, like the mass of these thrusters, they're very cool. And the look of them. If you look inside there, there's gray detail, gray actual thrusters underneath there. It's very cool. I love that look. Sure, the perfect grade has it too, but That guy's like 100 and some dollars. This guy was less than $100. This guy was the same price as the Master Grade Destiny Gundam Extreme Blast Mode. Okay, sorry, I'm a little crappy today. But anyway, I'm gonna go into the Launcher Strike next, saving the best for last, or in my opinion, the best for last. Now, this gun, just like every other incarnation, it's got nice tight joints, but that's also a pain in the ass. Because you do have to put this guy on the back there. Now I'm going to put this shoulder thing on. This thing, I have to say, is equivalent to its 1 to 100th counterpart, except without these two stickers. These are plastic. No stickers on this piece. It's all molded in detail. It's equivalent to it in its performance because the 1 to 100th was not bad at all. There's nothing bad that I could say about the 1 to 100th one. Because it was it was an overall great accessory. Like, it wasn't... There. This one just has, same as all the other ones, it just seems to have that little more mass. But that is because it does have more mass because it is a 1 to 60th instead of a 1 to 100th. But yeah, you've got this big cannon back here. And that detail, this is a real detail model instead of a apparently fake detail model or something. What was I buying all these years? Yeah. What are these? Are these fake details? Are these like details that they just came up with for the models? Has Bandai been lying to us? I don't know. Yeah, okay. Bandai, you need to stop making this easy for me. But yeah. Oh, and I forgot something. Okay, first off, look at this. This is, if you see right there, oh, flip it. If you see right there, it says ale. I can't hold it steady enough. It's just that finger. It says ale in little hexagons there. Yeah. This on the cannon, on the side of the cannon, it says launcher. I can't get focused in on that, but you can eventually get his hand into the launcher holder. I'm not going to attempt it because it would take too long. So I'm going to rip this off and show you the scribble text that nobody really cares about, but is still funny. Because it's leading up to the best joke I have for this review. And I guess I can partially understand why they'd have launcher written on this thing, because I have caught myself calling it the cannon strike before. So, you know, some guy who's new to the Archangel repair crew says, "Hey, can somebody get me some extra parts for the cannon strike?" They're like, "Wait, what strike? What's the cannon strike? I don't know what that is." Yeah. But yeah, I could see it happening. I could see it being of use to somebody. Oh my god, I'm about to sneeze and it's just not coming. Oh my god. I hate when that happens. There. Now here, you can see very clearly it has the word launcher written on it. You can see it just for a second though. Launcher in those hexagons. Now that I can understand because, you know, like, there are different words for it. It could be the gun strike, it could be the cannon strike, it could be the blast strike. Because there's the blast impulse, the cannon, the Destiny cannon mode, and then the launcher strike. But I'll get into the last one. Now, This is my favorite mode of any strike. I've always loved it. But yeah, there's always been one part about the sword mode that always sort of sullied it a bit, because it never worked out really well, and that's been the boomerang. It never stays on. Tap. Boop. Yeah, you can get it to stick in with a little bit of friction. It doesn't work that well, and like there are times when it'll just like move him a little and boom, it'll just fall out. Yeah, it's really not in there well on this scale. And if you have his arm out at anything above a 90, it's not gonna stay in there at all. I can't even get it to feasibly lock in. So if you want to have the claw shield out at anything above a 90, he'd better be using the boomerang, or have thrown it already and have it just laying somewhere else, because it's not staying in there. Heck, it's not staying in there at any angle. This guy fixed that. It's got a nice solid connection in here. Very nice boomerang. But the real winner for me is the fact that this guy, Bandai went through the trouble to make a special polycap tree, or special polycap trees. The Strike Gundam himself had one polycap tree, and all the parts for just this guy, the gun, the shield, and, oh yeah, I forgot to show you his one weapon that he has on him all the time. I'll show you the Armored Schneiders at the end. But anyway, those were all in one polycap tree. Then you had a separate one for the packs, because apparently they could release this guy separate if they wanted. Or maybe the Freedom has the same tree. I don't know. They may have incorporated that, because the Freedom is close to the Strike. Or maybe they plan to make a Noir or a, the Force Impulse may have had similar polycaps, the same polycaps. I don't know. But anyway, if you look, the boomerang has a little thing. It's also got a blade. Oh, and I lost my point again. I'll get to that. Also has a blade. But the real place where this boomerang shines over the 1-100 is in the mounting mechanism. Now you've got this gray piece in there, which the 1-100th had, but that gray piece is not plastic. That's a polycap. It's a specially made polycap. Now that means you've got plastic on rubber with this connection. Whereas plastic on plastic didn't work for them in the 1-100th scale. This one, and this was what you ended up doing. You ended up having it in there at this angle, which isn't as strong, but gave you a little more friction. Now you can put it in there perfectly the way you're supposed to. Get it all the way situated in there. It'll just get it right in there, then boom. I could be whacking that a few times. And that was like, those were pretty hard hits. Like, watch, I can bang this on the side of the box pretty hard, and yeah, it'll come off a few times, after a few times, but one time, 2 times, 3 times, 20 times. From the bottom it's a little easier, but yeah, it's still way more sturdy. It's still in there. You can have faith that it's in there. So on to transforming this guy. Let's put this onto the arm. Sorry, I'm coughing. The review must go on. I'm actually losing my voice while I'm doing this review. As Ray said, you know, some of you, this has been like what you guys have been waiting for. A time when I've been perfectly silent. Okay, so anyway. Yeah. Now, I was going to attach the shield at this point, But I decided I'll show you its gimmick first, because it's easier to do separate. Now, you can pull out the claw, if he really wanted to. I don't remember if he did this or not, but he could grab somebody with it and just pull them in. Then again, he could probably do that with his hand at this distance. But it's a claw, so. But the real winner comes when he launches the claw. And when he does that, you have a cable that you plug into there, and then there's actually a polycap in here, which I did forget originally, and I paid the price for it. And that price can also be named the peg at the end of this thing, but still. Yeah, and you have the grappling hook. It does sort of droop around a bit, and it's not really stable. I have to give the props to the 1/100th. They did give us that plastic piece that did stay on pretty well. But if you get it into some poses, like the closer you have it, the more stable it's going to be because the more wire it has. However, if you try to get it all the way out there, it's going to droop like crazy. It's also easier to do it in a spiral pattern. If you get the wire into a spiral pattern that you like, then you can get it displayed on there pretty easily without it drooping too much. And again, the closer you have it, the less it's going to droop. So let's attach it. Oh, and also if you grapple it onto something, then it's going to have less of a tendency to droop. Oh yeah, and by the way, here we go. Let's do the upstairs test with that boomerang. Yeah, nothing. But yeah, let's see. There we go. Up, it droops. But if I pull it out all the way, yeah, it's not going to stay up. But if I pull it out all the way, then grapple it onto the box, we're fine, because it's going to attach to the box, you know? It's going to... Or let's pull it out all the way, then grapple it onto the sword strike, the 1/100. Then it's got the contact point on the sword strike, so you see, it doesn't need to worry about that. Now it's like mommy with her child leash. Yeah, I want to go slash up some Zakus. No, you're staying here. Stop it, Billy. Don't make me call your father in here. Wait, who would the father of the strike be? I should have used the strike freedom. That would have been hilarious. Or just the freedom. Okay. Whatever. Okay, now on to the main weapon of this, and possibly the joke, the only joke that will make people laugh in this whole review. Here we go. The sword strike. And now this sword strike. This sword strike is good for people who have some mental handicaps, like maybe we've never found this out about Kira Yamato. Maybe he does have some type of mental handicap that prevents him from knowing what things are. So just in case he thinks this here is a tuna sandwich, it has written on it sword. So he knows that this is a sword and doesn't try to eat it. Because, you know, we wouldn't want him eating a giant robot sword. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop being mean and just say that this is where that little thing where they wrote the names on gets a little dumb. And just for the simple fact that, I mean, if it had been like the blade impulse, like having, or sever impulse or something like that. Impulse, what am I talking about? Sever strike, or something, blade strike. Having blade or sever on there would have been a little more cool than having sword, I think. But again, the sword does have that little peg, and I'm actually going to get this into his hand. I'll put the base of the backpack on his back just for effect. I've always wondered what he housed in this unit. Ow. Oh, and look, I dropped him on the boomerang, and the boomerang is still on. Suck that 1/100th. Okay, so now on to the actual sword. Let's get it into the hand to show you guys. Yeah, even without the, again, without the peg, without the fingers, I mean, Oh yeah, and you gotta, by the way guys, make sure you get on the sword and the, I think all three main weapons, and the gun, the sword, the launcher, and the gun. Make sure the fingers are through the guard before you push the peg in, because then you're going to have to take the peg back out, or warp the fingers in ways that they're not supposed to go, so just save yourself a little trouble and do it that way. Get the sword into the guard. Okay, but anyway, he holds this thing really nicely. You're gonna hold it out because it's not incredibly heavy. They didn't try to put gimmicks into it. He could do some really nice sort of slashing poses with that arm joint. You can sort of be ready to cut your face off. You gotta make sure that peg stays firmly connected though. You can sort of like stretch it over that shoulder and be ready to strike. Get it, strike. But the pose that I really like is just sort of a dual wield pose, which you can get. There we go. Pretty easily then with a good stance. Head down. Pop this off switch on the ale strike. Give him a cannon on this side and you're good. Or cannon on this side. Yeah, that's it. And you're good. And you've got probably my favorite Gundam of all time. Yes, Destiny Gundam. In case you're an idiot or haven't seen Seed Destiny. Okay. But yeah, let's go into what he has to offer. We have the beam for the sword. Very standard, you know. All these beam swords, all these physical beam swords have beams in them. I mean, these physical swords, I like them. I like them a lot. To say my favorite is the Destiny's because it does fold down into a smaller size. There he is with that beam sword. But this guy has a one up on the Destiny too. He's got the little dagger that pops at the bottom. So you can go pirate style and just be sort of dirty with it. Because I gotta say, this little thing here is fighting a little bit dirty. There we go. There's the fully beamed up strike sword. Beam me up, Scotty. That could be a reference to my previous joke when I was looking at the hands. That one. Beam me up, Scotty. It's so funny. God. I'm in trouble. I know I need help. I'm already seeing somebody for that. Yeah. Okay, so I'll get the boomerang in his hand too and give you some conclusions. First off, this is an excellent kit. If you are just getting into Gundam, saw Seed as your first Gundam, you know, they're coming out with that reissue, like that remastered version. So maybe you're like, hey, look, this is a remastered version of the Gundam show. Let's watch it. And you're like, wow, that was cool. I want to build a model from that. And you have kids who are into it. You could get them this, and they will be able to figure it out. The parts are not big enough and chunky enough that you can figure it out pretty easily. But yeah, it's not like a perfect, and you can actually, if you really detail this guy up pretty well, like professional quality detailing, you could almost pass him off as a perfect grade. The only thing is you can't use the launcher or the sword. And, you know, I may not be a huge fan of this, but the other thing that you really need to paint to make this guy look perfect is Kiriyamato in there and panel line him, which I will do. And the only reason I did the face was because I did it separately. Oh, and I forgot to show you his most basic weapon. Pop out the side skirts like normal, and you can pull them out. The armor schneiders. Not gonna put them into the hand. Probably should though. Yeah, let's do it. I'll pop out the boomerang. Okay, so unlike the 1-100 that had a separate pair in there, just unfold them like the way they're supposed to, and then you can set them into the hand. They don't have pegs, but they don't really need them because they do have that thumb grip, which does actually do what it's supposed to. It actually makes him hold them rather well. So it's like, here, okay, this is kind of a funny pose. Him holding a little knife in one hand and then the sword sort of in a prone position. Like, I'm gonna shank you. I may be holding a giant sword, but I'm gonna shank you with this little knife. Yeah. And they're simple enough to get out of the hand. And you can also, with these ball jointed fingers, do quite a few splayed finger poses. Like, so you can have him sort of with his hand out like that, and then the sword like ready to kick your butt, or using the grappling hook maybe. Yeah, that's. Or here, I'll just transform the grappling hook into its claw mode to make it look like it's about to shoot out. Now that's actually a really nice pose, and you don't even have to contend with the wire of the grappling hook, which is great. This is a very nice kit. Actually, almost worth. I'm gonna get the impulse in this scale at some point in time. I know they only have the force, which is my least favorite, but I wish they would have gone the little extra mile and given us the sword silhouette like they did with that extra finish version in the 1-100th. Yeah, that was decent. That was a decent idea. I like that idea, so you could do the scenes where he does have the force, the sword silhouette, and the force impulse. But yeah, this is a very nice guy. Definitely worth getting him. Definitely worth picking him up. He's about 80 bucks, 80 to 90 bucks. I would pay 100 for this guy. Honestly, he's worth it. He's a perfect model kit. But if you really like detailed stuff, like the little etchings and stuff, you may want to pick up a Gundam decal set. Not this one. This is all the random federations. They do have a 1/60th Strike Freedom, or Freedom Gundam, or not even the Freedom, the Strike Gundam. Sorry. This has Archangel. You know which one I may put on this guy? I may put it like right on his kneecap or something. Archangel. I may put one for Archangel. Maybe one for GAT-10XB Strike. Or 10X3. What is this actual number? I'm gonna get that. Oh yeah, let's show off the box just to close this review. Now here's something sort of misleading. I looked at this box and I'm like, do we get alternate armor for the chest and like all of the blue and red parts? Which wouldn't be that many extra plates, so. Could happen. Because they show phase shift down here and there. Which, I mean, yeah, giving us 2 extra plates with the red and the blue. Not going to be too difficult, but whatever. So yeah, tad misleading, but still. Great kit. Definitely worth picking up. This has been Galactic Marine 501/jexamwolfexia. I'll see you guys at the next review. And this has been over a half an hour of a review. Sorry guys, yeah.